Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring on Game 2 of the NBA Finals, the showdown slate between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. But before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, also making videos for PGA, Daily Fantasy Sports, and NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you could, take a minute or two out of your day, leave a 5-star rating and review. That goes a long way, guys. Every single rating review on Apple Podcasts boosts me up in those rankings, allows for more people to listen to my content. Same thing with kind of liking videos on YouTube, right? It allows for more people to find the videos and to get more people to watch them. If you are interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com, an esports package. It includes Call of Duty and CSGO. Again, CSGO, we get sites every single day. Call of Duty 4 times a week normally. And then I also offer an NBA package. With the NBA package, again, you'll get the PGA data sheets for free. And then also we have Olympic basketball coming up in the next week or two, and I will be posting content for that. So if you sign up for NBA, obviously you get the rest of the NBA Finals, and then you'll get Olympics. And if they have TBT stuff, I'll have that, and also Summer League next month. So still a lot of basketball left here to be played. And I do want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode. So if this is your first time watching these videos, or you are not familiar with PrizePicks, there are a few different ways you can play. The first way is the original way, where you just take over, under, and straight up fantasy points. So they will post players and their projected fantasy scores, and again, you either take the over or the under. It's pretty simple. You can mix and match sports. They have every sport you can think of, so esports, MLB, WNBA, first half NBA contest, PGA. So like right now, Giannis had to come plus projected for 52.5 fantasy points. The two I liked last game were over Giannis. Once I saw 39.5. I was like, that is too low. Giannis is superhuman. He really is. I mean, the fact that he came back from 1 week with a hyperextended knee and literally looked close to 100%. That was crazy. But again, Giannis is like that. He's superhuman. He comes back from injuries very, very quick. And I guess we'll talk about it in a sec. But the reason I ended up getting to Giannis was, my thought process was, all right, it's game 1. They can afford to, take an L here and have Giannis sit out one more day if it's really that bad. But the fact that, again, he got the midday upgrade, plus, again, the risk was it wasn't do or die time. So, like, if he really needed more time, they could have given him more time, but they didn't. So I was like, okay, I think he's close to healthy, and that's why I played him in DFS. That's why I like the over there at 39.5 when he was for last game. And Chris Paul, I believe, was at 41.5. He went over as well. Those are the two I liked. So hopefully you guys made some money there. But yeah, as far as for this game, what kind of stands out to me, let's see. Let me scroll down. Brook Lopez at 26. I kind of like the under. If you saw the last game, I mean, they just got abused in the pick and roll. And Budenholzer, like, come on. Like, he made adjustments, but it was way too late. It was in, like, the fourth quarter. They should be playing small if Phoenix is just going to run this pick and roll every single time. They have to, right? Giannis at the 5 actually is their best chance, I believe, because Brook Lopez, he can't defend the pick and roll, right? And Bobby Portis is not much better at it either. So the bigs for Milwaukee, I'm a little bit worried about in this series. So I think like the under there in Brook Lopez. And then, some of these, wings guards for Milwaukee, I think might play a little bit more. Like Forbes got a little bit of run there in the fourth quarter. I think Pat Connaughton plays a little bit more. He played close to 30 minutes. I think I like the over there in Pat Connaughton at 11.5. And then Giannis at 52.5 feels a little bit low if he's going to play a full game like he did last game. So I think I like the over there as well. And then also you can play single stats. You can take over under and just straight up points, assists, rebounds, and 3-pointers made if you prefer that way. So if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You'll get a 100% match up to $100. Basically, you sign up using my code, you deposit $100, you'll get a free $100 to play with. And finally, I just want to thank you guys again for continued support. And special shout out to all you guys who super chatted yesterday. Love doing those streams with Noah. Hope you guys enjoyed the dual live stream. And we might do one more before the end of the NBA Finals. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy all this content, if you could, leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload videos. And you know when I go live, I will be doing a YouTube live stream tomorrow. So make sure to check it out. Go over the slate again and answer any questions you guys have. Let's try to aim for 150 likes, guys, on this video. All right, so Real quick before we get into the player-by-player breakdown, let's look back my lineup here from Game 1. So Game 1, it was truly unfortunate, and I really feel for Dario Saric. We actually just got news he tore his ACL, so man, that is brutal luck for him. I know he wasn't a huge part of this Suns team, but he was still playing around 10 minutes off the bench and was a decent player. And obviously now he is going to be out for the rest of the series. So prayers up for Dario Saric. But obviously that hurt my lineup. However, even with the Dario Saric low-owned injury, still cashed. And the reason I did, 9% in the captain Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I just went over my reasonings of why I went to him was because, again, it's Game 1. It's not like they absolutely needed him here. If he really needed a couple more days off, they could have given it to him. So I thought he was close to 100%, I guess. And the fact that Giannis is just superhuman. So I was shocked when we got that ownership. 35% overall, only 9% in the captain. Absolutely love this, and he came through in a big way there. Chris Paul, did prefer him to Devin Booker. It was close, but yeah, Paul had the better game. He went for 53 fantasy points. Drew Holiday was disappointing. Again, him and Middleton are just frustrating rosters in the playoffs. They're just very up and down. And Holiday had a bad shooting game. I feel like whenever Giannis is in the lineup, Drew Holiday just really takes a step back. He's got to be more aggressive. Like, we saw what he can do those last two games against Atlanta. I feel like it's like, well, you just want to like talk to him, like, be more aggressive. Like, he's just got to be, again, more aggressive on the offensive end, and he wasn't last game. DeAndre Ayton had a really solid game, went for 49 fantasy points. Cam Johnson was the guy that I thought was a very, clear optimal play for value. Now, I was a little bit surprised. He was only 55% owned. I thought that'd be a little bit higher. I did. But yeah, he had a nice game there, 21 fantasy points. And again, unfortunately, Saric got injured there. Only one fantasy point got injured right away. But we did have some takedowns. Congrats, Josh. Sorry, I can't talk. And congrats. Oh, also, I got to mention that Chris Paul rebound at the end. If you guys were watching that game, him and DeAndre Ayton were kind of fighting for it, and Chris Paul came down with it. That rebound swung everything on FanDuel and on Draftkings. I know some people were like 0.2 points away. They went from like winning thousands of dollars to only like 100 or something. So I feel for you guys. That is a super bad beat, Cody. I know you're one of them. But hopefully you can get some good luck for this game. And yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. So let's talk about the Vegas odds really quick. Again, Bucks Suns at 221 over under. The Suns are 5.5 point favorites in this one. So start off with Milwaukee. Giannis, Middleton, Drew Holiday at the top. My preferred option here is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He looked basically close to 100% there. Went for 53 fantasy points in 35 minutes. Now, he did lose a couple minutes. He probably had one extra rest in there, but that doesn't worry me too much. I think we get 35 to 40 minutes out of Giannis. We know he is a great point per minute guy. Went for 20 points, 17 boards, 4 assists, 1 block, 2 steals. It's kind of a Giannis stat line. So I think he is someone that I like a good amount. And if people are still going to be scared about the injury, that's good. That means the ownership will be low. I don't think we're going to get 35% Giannis and 9% in the captain like we did last slate. But, if he's still going to be relatively low owned, I'm fine going right back to Giannis. Now, Middleton versus Drew Holiday. These guys are frustrating rosters. They really are. Middleton had a slow start, but picked it up later in the game, went for 43 fantasy points. He's at 9.8K. Drew Holiday had the really bad game, only 4 of 14. He went for 30 fantasy points, almost had a triple-double, though. 10 points, 9 assists, 7 boards. That kind of feels like a Alfred Payton-esque stat line when he used to play decent minutes. Like he would always hover around a triple-double, but like just barely get there back in like his Pelican days or even on the Magic. Drew Holiday, again, 56 and 62 fantasy points when Giannis was out, but comes back down to earth. When Giannis has been in, he's now had 4 straight games under 40 fantasy points. So that is a little bit of concern. However, he can still have upside games. It's just a little bit more rare when Giannis is in. So with Holiday versus Middleton, I think it's a small... Middleton has been more consistent, I guess, recently with Giannis in, so maybe a small lean to Middleton over Holiday. However, I do think now Holiday will come in at lower ownership after the one bad game. So it's really close to these two. Like, I don't have a super strong take on Middleton versus Drew Holiday. If they were the same price, it's like straight up, it's going to be Middleton for me, but it's a $1,000 discount, so it's really close to those two. Now, Brook Lopez is one guy that I think is a pretty easy fade. Now, he was solid when he was out there, 29 fantasy points in 23 minutes, but he can't be on the court a long time, right? He's going to get burned in the pick and roll. He is way too slow. So if the Bucks are going to be stubborn and continue to just switch every time, then again, Brook Lopez is going to be stuck on one of those guards, and they're just going to abuse him in the pick and roll. So I'm worried about Brook Lopez's minutes. Obviously, again, only played 23. We saw that in the Atlanta series, right? When Trae Young was healthy, 20 minutes in competitive game, 25 minutes in competitive game. So I really don't have a ton of interest there in Brook Lopez. Now, PJ Tucker, Pat Connaughton, these guys are guys that might play a little bit more. With Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis kind of struggling that pick and roll defense, these guys probably see a few extra minutes. We got 33 minutes from PJ Tucker. Again, you know the drill with him. Not a good point per minute guy, but should play over 30 minutes. I think 30 to 35, a pretty fair guess. So I'm fine with Tucker. I don't love the price, but again, the minutes will be there. Kind of same with Pat Connaughton. He played 28. I expect similar minutes because I do think he'll have to play more in the series with the Bucks. Just they can't play Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis a ton, I don't think. So Connaughton, PJ Tucker, I think are both fine value plays here. Bobby Portis, the price went way down. Now it's doable here at 3.2K. How many minutes does he play? Right, he played 14 last game. There's a chance those could go down a little bit more. I think we still get around that. I think 12 to 15 minutes, a pretty fair guess for Bobby Portis is minutes. And he's a good point per minute guy. So he's now at a much more playable price at 3.2. So I think I'm fine with Bobby Portis. A little bit more of a GPP play because I wouldn't expect big minutes from him in this series, especially with Giannis back. And then a couple interesting plays I want to talk about here. Bryn Forbes and Jeff Teague. So Forbes at 1.8K. He played 12 minutes last game. Again, though, this is a series he might have to play a little bit more. Maybe instead of the 10 to 12 minutes from Forbes, we get closer to 15 to 20. Now, with Bryn Forbes, you got to know that his fantasy production, it's going to come from just straight up points. He's not really going to do a ton of rebounds or the assists. So, but like I said, I think there's a chance he might play more here. So Forbes I'm intrigued by because he's super, super cheap. And if I am correct, and he does play a little bit more, and we get closer to 20 minutes from Bryn Forbes at only 1.8K, there's a good chance he can pay off that price point. So I'm intrigued by Bryn Forbes. Also a little bit intrigued by Jeff Teague. Played 10 minutes last game. Not the best point per minute guy, but not the worst. Will handle the ball. Sometimes, obviously, when Drew Holiday's out, he'll bring up the ball, play the backup point guard. So he's only 1.4K too. Doesn't need a ton to pay off the salary. Now, sure, is there a chance he could go from 10 minutes to a DNP? Yeah. But if I had to guess, I would think he plays here. And again, maybe he plays a couple extra minutes with the Bucks. I think their best chances go a little smaller. So I'm intrigued by Forbes, intrigued by Jeff Teague. Obviously, both are still risky, but they're very, very cheap. And that's it for the Bucks. So let's move on to the Phoenix Suns. Paul, Booker, Ayton at the top. 10.4 for Paul, 10K for Booker, 9.2K for DeAndre Ayton. With Paul versus Booker, it's really close. Both these guards, if Milwaukee plays that same defense as the first three quarters, they're just going to have a field day in the pick and roll. Booker and Paul, and they did. They both had good games, 43 for Booker, again, 50 plus for Chris Paul for fantasy points. I think for me, it's still a small lean to Chris Paul. The reason it's a small lean is because of the peripheral stats. However, it is still really close with these two, Paul and Booker. Like both, I think you could play both too. I really do. Both are going to play big minutes. And if Milwaukee is stubborn and Coach Bud is going to continue that defense, then they're just going to have a field day. So like Paul, like Booker, don't have a super strong take, but if I had to pick, it would be a smallest of leans to Chris Paul once again. And then DeAndre Ayton, I think, is a perfectly solid play here, 9.2K. The price went up for him, but I think it's for a good reason. He'll probably get you a double-double. He had 19 rebounds last game, 22 points. If the Bucks do go small, then he'll have a better, he'll have more opportunities to have better fantasy schemes. I don't know why I can't talk. So I think he can have his way against that small ball Milwaukee front court. Now, the one concern I will say with DeAndre Ayton is he was on Giannis Antetokounmpo a decent amount on the defensive end. That worries me a little bit because I think that increases his chance of potential foul trouble. He had 3 fouls last game, so he did a good job staying out of foul trouble. I do think that is a possibility. So all that being said, I think if he can stay out of foul trouble, 35 to 40 minutes, a pretty safe play, a good rebounder, might be a little bit over-owned after the last game. He still is a guy that can get you 30 fantasy points, right? We saw it in the Clippers series, 29, 35. So the floor is still there with him, 24, 33. 49, I think, is more of his ceiling. So, again, maybe a little bit over-owned, but still think he is a decent play with that price increase. And then you get a drop-off, but, it should be a drop-off from the big three because then the wings, Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson got a big increase. I guess we'll start with Mikal Bridges. I think we get around 30-ish minutes from him. He played straight up 30 minutes last game, went for 19 fantasy points. He can have upside. Again, though, it's a little bit more rare. He's got to knock down those corner threes. I think right now he's just more of a contrarian play. Same with Cam Johnson. I really liked him last slate at 2.8K. Now he's 6K. So I think we get 15 to 20 minutes off the bench. He had a really good game last game. Again, though, maybe more of a ceiling of around 21 fantasy points. So don't love this price now, Cam Johnson. And Jay Crowder is the cheapest of the bunch of 5-6. He shot 0 of 8. Actually, I think my preferred option of these three would be Jay Crowder. The reason, number one, he's the cheapest. Number two, recency bias. He shot 0 of 8 last game. That's going to, some people played Crowder, that they burned him. They're not going to want to go back. And I know Jay Crowder's a frustrating roster, right? I played him a ton earlier on in the playoffs. He never came through for me. The 1 or 2 times I faded him, he went off. So I can never get this guy right, but he can still go for 30-plus fantasy points if he's knocking down some of those threes. So intrigued by Jay Crowder because I think he'll be the lowest owned of this bunch, plus he's the cheapest. Cam Payne at 3.8K, we kind of know his role. 15 to 18 minutes off the bench, a decent point per minute guy. Went for 13 fantasy points last game. I'm actually fine with it. The price went down a little bit. I think he's much more in play now at this price than he was at 4.6K. So I think Cam Payne's definitely in play there off the bench. Again, Sarge, very unfortunate, tore his ACL. So he's obviously out for the rest of the series. Torrey Craig at 2.4, I think is also in play. He played 16 minutes last game. I think they might need him on the defensive end to guard Giannis a little bit here. We've seen a ceiling from him. We've also seen a pretty low floor, but he's cheap enough where I think he's in play. So Torrey Craig, also I think viable. I think around 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo for a little bit. And then finally, we got to talk about Frank Kaminsky at 1K. So he came in the first half when Sarge went down, played 4 minutes, had 0 fantasy points. But normally he's actually a pretty decent point per minute guy. My one concern here with Frank Kaminsky is the fact that Phoenix went small in the second half. Now, I think that's partly due to the Bucks going small in the second half more, right? Benching Portis, benching Brook Lopez. But if they're not out there, then Frank Kaminsky's not going to be out there, right? So that's the tricky part. Like, how many minutes do we get from Frank Kaminsky? If I knew we were going to get the Dario Saric minutes and 10 minutes from Frank Kaminsky off the bench, I would really like him at 1K. However, I think there's a chance he only gets one shift, maybe plays 4 to 5 minutes, and that's it. So depends on the game flow. If game flow goes, if Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis are staying out there, then I think Frank Kaminsky could play 2 shifts and get closer to 10 minutes. But I think there's also a chance that maybe he only comes in the first half and plays 4 minutes like he did last game. So that's a risk with Frank Kaminsky, but he's super, super cheap, and he is a decent point per minute guy, so worth a dart throw in tournaments. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content this far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, and you know when I'm live. Again, I will be doing the YouTube live stream tomorrow. Make sure to check it out, guys. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.